Hello. Hi, everyone. Gosh, I do. You're right, Diane. A bunch of early birds in here. So, welcome in, all of you guys. I think Lincoln, you were the first one up here. Is that right? Yeah, Lincoln, you were the first one here. Lamb's Grace, Lee, Cynthia, Bronwyn, welcome in from cold Victoria, Australia. And Diane, thank you. Listen, Diane, you're going to have to carry the weight of this today with being moderator because Istanbul, because she's in the process of packing and moving and doing all that, she said she's not going to be reliably here on Saturdays. So I'll talk about it in a minute, but I'll also put a call out if anybody else would like to be a deputy moderator because we don't want Diane to have to do everything. So anyway, welcome in, Cindy. And Molly Ann from Minnesota. All right. And John, see you too. Welcome in. So, yeah, happy Labor Day weekend, holiday weekend. I don't know. It was also the end of the month, which means yesterday I went on the bus and went down to Safeway to just get some food for the weekend. And it was like on the bus was backed up just to get into the parking lot. So, and it's a small town. So yeah, the holiday weekend is definitely here. Donna, welcome in from Iowa, and Suzanne from Bend. I remember you've been here before, Suzanne. Beautiful Bend, Oregon. Myra from California, welcome in. Linda, Mr. Taylor. Oh, we missed you last week, Mr. Taylor. I hope you're feeling okay. And Jean. Hello, everyone. Anyway, welcome all in. Like I said, Labor Day week. Did you know that I had to look this up because I probably knew it at one time, but I didn't realize what it was. Did you know the origin of Labor Day dates back to 1882? And I knew it had something to do with labor unions and the rise of that in the late 1800s. But anyway, 1882, September 5th, 10,000 workers apparently marched, and they had like a day off. They just took the day off work basically to do this, to prove that, they had rights. Because, think about it, in the late 1800s, especially, if you didn't belong to a union, you really had no rights. And so anyway, it's kind of cool that it's still being celebrated, although the latest statistics are only 6% of workers in the US belong to a labor union now. It used to be a lot higher, but anyway. So I don't know. It's kind of obscure in a way that we're still celebrating Labor Day, ironically, but whatever. Hi, Anne from Ireland. Hi, Lavender, Lenny, KJR. Okay, thanks, Diane. Thank you. You just keep the eye out for the trolls. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to start with, I'm going to do a comment of the week, but I did want to start with something that really, I just kind of want to throw it out there for you guys because I want to see what you think about it. Hi, Enter You and Marcia. Anyway, somebody just wrote a comment this morning. I don't think they're in the chat. It's not somebody that regularly comments. And it was about my video about forgiveness, which I know is a really tough one for people. A lot of people watch that video and they don't really, it goes right over their head. They're thinking, well, I'm not going to forgive this person or that person because they were horrible to me. And how can I forgive that? And the whole point of the video, if you haven't seen it, I urge you to go back and watch it, is about the forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. So when we carry a lot of resentment and anger towards people in our hearts, then what happens is it eats away at us. And so when you forgive somebody, you don't even have to tell them you forgive them. It's not about them, really. It's about your feelings about them. And so when you're forgiving, you're letting go of those feelings. if that makes sense. So this lady, I assume it was a lady, it was a woman's name. I'm not going to share her name, but you probably, anyway. She said, and she made a good point. I'm not dissing her at all for this. She said, and so we're supposed to like forgive Hitler and all these monsters, Ted Bundy, I think she said, and all these horrible people, we're supposed to forgive them, and people that do horrible things to their children. Okay, well, the first thing is you're detached from that to some degree, unless you were directly affected by those people. So you're talking about, let's take Hitler. If your family was impacted by the Holocaust, then you have a much more personal stake in that. And I can understand why that would be a lot more difficult. If you're not somebody that was directly affected by that, then you're saying, well, why should we forgive Hitler? Well, I know, Diane, everyone has to mention Hitler. But anyway, he's pretty awful. So, okay. The point is, you're not, unless you were personally affected, I don't think you have to forgive Hitler. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not a matter of saying, oh, I forgive Hitler for all the horrible things he did in the world and the millions of people he killed. No, I mean, I don't think you have to say that unless you were directly affected. And then it might come up. Then you might have that choice to make. Does that make sense? So a lot of people use these hypotheticals, but forgiveness is really about something that has affected you. Does that make sense? Anyway. Yes, it is, Suzanne. That's a favorite saying of mine. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. I know. It's exactly right. But anyway. Yes, and Marcia, again, that was another thing I made in my video on forgiveness. It's not about forgetting what people did. It's not saying, oh, I'm going to forgive you and let you do that to me all over again. It's just about you're forgiving because you're letting go of the thing that's eating at you. But you still don't forget what they did. So you're not going to let them hopefully do that to you again. Well, yes, that's true, Molly Ann. It does depend on your definition of forgive, but I've had people raise that statement before about, well, so we should forgive all the horrible mass murderers and so serial killers and Hitler and Stalin and everybody they can dig up that would be horrible to forgive. Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, if you're a person that really believes in forgiveness, you would forgive any of that. I'm not saying that. And I don't think I say that in the video, is that unless it's personally affected you. So I've known people that were Holocaust survivors. And for them to be able to forgive what the Nazis did to them, that's pretty amazing. And a lot of them did forgive. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them did forgive. And so that's where it matters, because the forgiveness again is about them. It's not about the other party. Oh, all in a dream that it took 90% of your family. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I don't know if you want to share how your family reacts to that, as far as were they able to reach any kind of peace about your family that were survivors, of course. I don't know. I know I have talked to a few people that were, in concentration camps, that one of them was very forgiving and the other person was not. And it's not a judgment about it. I mean, if I were in that situation, I don't think I would forgive. Honestly, it would be really hard. That would be a really tough thing to forgive when they wipe out your whole family. So, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that, but I'm back. The point is that don't read too much. When I talk about forgiveness in a video, I'm talking about things that do affect you personally. So if somebody has wronged you and you carry that with you all your life, it would be easier on you to be able to forgive. It's for you, if that makes a sense. Yes, Lincoln, exactly. You don't ever forget. I don't think, I mean, unless you're delusional and you will, some people, their brain has a defense mechanism and it represses things. And so they actually do forget things. My mother forgot a lot of the horrible things in her childhood because her brain was actually trying to protect her. And the reason I know she forgot them and repressed them is because her sister that went through the same things remembered them and had to then tell my mother what had happened. And then some of it came back to my mom. So sometimes your own brain represses things that have happened to you so you don't remember as much, which is just, that's just protection. So anyway, I don't want to spend the whole time on that. I just had to point out that the forgiveness thing, a lot of people misinterpret what it is and what it should be for. Now, in a religious sense, if you're a religious person, of course, it has other meanings additionally for you. But I'm just saying, for your own welfare and psychological well being, it is a positive thing to forgive. So, anyway. Exactly, John. See you too. Exactly. Yes, Mr. Taylor, I want peace in this life too. I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit. Okay, let's get to our actual comment of the week. And this is very positive, if I remember correctly. It's yes, this is a lovely comment. This was shared by somebody with the initials LSI or LSL. I don't know that they've commented a lot on my videos, so I don't think they're necessarily a regular viewer. But this is lovely. And I don't remember, I think this was in regards to last week's video, maybe. It wasn't this week's, but anyway. This person said, lately I've realized the importance of living with peace and love. That is asking myself whether my choices are coming from peace or love. That helps me decide my course of action. As I age, I want to reduce my baggage and live with a lighter heart. I also want to be more empathetic, to learn and understand others better, not judge, and have gratitude, to be less ego, to be kind always. This framework helps me live each day. Everyone's aging is going to be as different as they are. During our work life, we're too busy to reflect and nurture ourselves. Now in retirement, that seems to be my sole duty, to take care of myself physically, mentally, and spiritually. Isn't that beautiful? That was such a beautiful comment. I just, anyway, I just love that. And so it ties into what you were saying, Mr. Taylor, about living, you choose to live with peace. That's what this person is saying. And it's really, really wonderful. So, we went down to, we continued on here over here. You're hacked, Umit. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't really want to get into talking about that more in the thing here, Nick, because because I wanted to be more positive in the live stream today. But yeah, it's just it's a it's a beautiful thing. And it ties into what I'm going to talk about today, which is we make a choice. We make a choice on what to focus on. There's so much darkness, there's so much negativity, there's so much horrible stuff that we could focus on, but it becomes a choice. And, because I mentioned the Holocaust earlier, I'll mention again one of my favorite books, if you've never read it, which is called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's written by an actual Holocaust survivor who became a very important influence in the field of psychology. And which I'm just now drawing a blank on who wrote that. But if anybody can join in on the chat of Man's Search for Meaning. So I don't know why I'm having a senior moment. Anyway, his whole point in that book is to talk about the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's own attitude in any given set of circumstances. We choose our own attitude. And he was able to do that being in Auschwitz. So if anybody could speak to the fact of what, and he basically credited that way of thinking with a lot to do with Vic. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Viktor Frankl. Yes. Anyway, and thank you, Donna. You came up with it too. But anyway, yeah, Viktor Frankl, amazing. He founded this type of psychology called logotherapy. But I used to teach about it in my classes and about this. And I've had this book. I started reading this book probably in the 70s, the first time I read it. I have always had a little copy of it on hand because occasionally I go back and I read it. Because it's a reminder that no matter how bad things are, you still choose your own attitude. So I wanted to, that wonderful comment that person wrote that I read, that ties into it too. It's choosing. It's making a choice. Oh, Donna, you heard him lecture at an assembly when you were 18. Oh, that must have been wonderful. I know. I would have loved to have met him. I think he lived until like the 80s or 90s or something. I'm not sure exactly when he died. Yes, Donna, you still have a copy of the book. Did you get him to sign your book? That would have been cool. Oh, and now you're 80. Yeah, he was already during the Holocaust. I think he was already around 40 years old. And the only reason he survived, well, he says that the reason they didn't kill him is because I think he was a doctor. And they were keeping a lot of the doctors alive because they never knew if they were going to need, medical care in the camps or whatever. But so he would have been in his 80s by the 1980s. So I'm not I know he lived to be somewhere in his 80s. Anyway. Yes, welcome in, Just Pyrite. Yes, he was, Donna. You're right. Well, it is hard to control, Dennis. That's the thing. It's easy to say that we choose our own attitude or we choose our own perspective on the world, but some days it's harder than others. But that's part of being human. I don't think we should ever be so tough on ourselves that we expect that we're going to get it 100% of our time, that we're going to be able to be, upbeat and happy or, content or whatever word you want to use. I think it's a process. And when you do it more, it becomes easier to do. Okay, I think we may have to, Diane, you may have to do something to this person. Yeah, let's get rid of Omit here. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that works. I think I did it, Diane. Anyway, oh, that's weird, Michaela. Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't done anything. I just did some to the chat to that one person, but which they still haven't. That still hasn't gone away. The comment. Anyway, oh, thank you, Cherie. He was born in 1905 and died in 1997. Wow. I didn't realize he lived to be 92. Is that who you're talking about, Viktor Frankl? That's amazing. Thank you. Anyway, but back to, yeah, I mean, it's really about, it's a process and it's a struggle sometimes to choose your attitude, but I think it's very, very important. And if you don't do well one day, then you work on it the next day. And hi, Gail. Hi, Jan. I was going to share with you the thing that really reminded me of this is yesterday I was riding the bus. I told you I went down to Safeway the day before a 3-day weekend, and it was like craziness down there. But anyway, I got on the bus, and when I was coming back on the bus, one of the ladies that lives in my community got on the bus, and she's a person who is, I'm trying to think of the right word. She's she tends to be a person that complains a lot about things. Like she just complains. And I was having a chat with another lady on the bus that also lives here who's perfectly nice. And we're talking about something, just innocuous. And then she chimes in the negative person. And then she spends the rest of the bus ride complaining about something that wasn't even that important. But she was just all up in arms about it. And I thought, and I know this other lady and I kind of looked at each other and we tried to not engage with her about it. So maybe she would stop, this one person. And as I got off the bus, I thought to myself, I bet she spends a lot of her day doing that. Like she just finds so many things to be upset about. And that's a choice. See, what she doesn't seem to realize is it's a choice. And I feel bad for her. I do. She's lived here, I think, almost as long as I have, maybe. And I once in a while I chat with her, just saying hi or whatever. I mean, I don't really know her well, but every time I've really been around her, it's always some sort of complaint, or this is awful, or this shouldn't happen, or she's up in arms about something. But it's not even about like really important things. It's about just stupid things. And I know to her it's not stupid, but the thing is, there were other people on the bus too, and we're all kind of giving each other this look, that look you give people when you're like, how did this start? You know what I mean? Like you're listening to this tirade that woman's doing and you're thinking, why? So I really feel bad for her that she can't get out of that in her head, because I've heard her do this before. But it was a reminder again about you choose your own attitude. You choose your own attitude. We all have bad stuff to deal with. We all have challenges. Speaking of which, this is where I interject with my tooth thing is still in limbo. I've got this bruised tooth thing over here. I still can't really eat normally on that side because I can just tell it doesn't hurt like all the time or anything. But when I eat over there, and so the point is, and then over here I've got a sore gum from trying to eat over here. So I'm still eating soft stuff and it's frustrating. But you know what? I choose not to focus on it most of the time because I don't want to sit around here being miserable all the time. So that's a choice. When people are in a bad mood, well, okay, let me qualify that. If you have like clinical depression or something, that's different. I mean, because you're going to tend to look at things in more of a dark way. So I don't know. Maybe this lady does have clinical depression. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. So anyway, but why waste my point is, why waste your time if you can help it on being so negative? Oh, Gail, your mother was like that? Yeah, I know. And it's like, I was more negative when I was younger than I am now. I've actually learned to be less negative because you know what? It's called a survival thing. Like I want to be in a better headspace most of the time. I don't want to be miserable. So when I was a kid, though, I had a lot of illness when I was a child, and there was a lot of just negative stuff going on in my little tiny world when I was a kid. And so, yeah, I was more negative growing up. And of course, my father died when I was 10. I had a lot of family members die when I was a child. And so I did not look at the world in even close to the way I look at it now. Now, I am not I'm not a Pollyanna person in the sense of I just think of positive things and that's it. No, I'm realistic. I do look at like what's actually happening. But if something is small stuff, if it's not that important or I can't solve it, then why focus on it? That's just, it goes back to what Viktor Frankl said. Why would you focus on the things that you can't do anything about. So, anyway. Mr. Mac, why are my videos so gloomy? I don't think they're all gloomy. I don't know which ones you've watched. I doubt you've watched all my videos, but anyway. Anyway, so that kind of segues into it segues into aging. I was going to talk a little bit about I was reading in this wonderful book about that aging, like instead of having a birthday party, they were saying they knew somebody that did something called aging parties. They'd say, "Well, I'm celebrating this many years of aging," rather than birthday, because when you think of a birthday party, first of all, the concept is we think of us when we were young and kids and whatever. But as you get older, people will dread their birthday. And of course, I'm talking about this because a big birthday, my 70th, is coming up in a couple of months, 2.5 months, something like that. And I've really thought a lot about that's a big milestone. And I've always celebrated I've always celebrated birthdays. I'm a person that never worried about that I was getting older. I think my 50th birthday was a little bit hard because I was going through a health thing at that time. I had to have my thyroid taken out. And so I kind of was not in a good place when I turned 50. That's true. But most of my birthdays before that and after that, I've celebrated because to me, it's like I'm still here. I have another, I've gone another year. It's kind of like it's a celebration of life. So I like that term, having an aging party. So that's how I'm viewing my upcoming birthday. It's celebrating 70 years of aging, and that's how I'm going to enjoy it. Anyway, I know, Carol, a lot of people don't celebrate. I'm a big believer in enjoying birthdays. I think it's a great milestone every year. We're still here. If you're still here having a birthday, you have survived a lot. And you're a survivor, basically, by definition. Yeah, you have a whole birthday month, Lavender Chic. Okay, I don't go that far. I have a birthday like a week sometimes. Sometimes I do a birthday week. You're celebrating in December for 75 years of life. There you go, Stellar. And you'll be 70 next year, Jan. That's great. Oh, Jean, you have a birthday on Christmas? I've heard most people don't like that, being born on Christmas, but then I've heard some people really like it. So, but it wasn't great for you, Jean? All in a dream. You turned 70 this year. There you go. See, now, was it traumatic for you at all? Because hopefully not. Oh, just September 3rd. You're going to be 70 in like 3 days, Cherie. Everybody say happy birthday to Cherie. 77 in January, Suzanne. Yes, it is a great excuse. Oh, you can believe I'm having all kinds of sweets on my birthday. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Diane, that's the spirit. You celebrate every day. Oh, good. Thank you, everybody, for saying happy birthday to Cherie. That's great. I mean, we have a lot of us are around the same age. That's really cool. Yeah. But anyway, celebrating 70 years of aging. I love that. Anyway, so I just had to interject that because I will be when my birthday gets closer, I will do like a special birthday live stream. Probably not on my birthday, but it'll be close to my birthday. And maybe I'll even have like cake on the live stream or something. I wish I could like get it through the screen to you guys. You just turned 73. Congrats, Lee. Every day above ground is a good day. You bet it is. You bet it is. Anyway, so see, we all of a sudden got in a better mood because we talked about birthdays. Well, most of us, we were in a better mood. Yeah, KJR, that reminds me, you talking about the birthday every month. It reminds me of how many of you have seen the movie Office Space? Where they're always doing a birthday celebration for somebody in the building, and it's fun. I don't know. If you've never seen the movie Office Space, you have to see that movie. If you've ever worked in an office in your life, it will have so much meaning. Hi, Barb. Welcome in. See, I'm laughing just at the thought of Office Space, the movie. It was funny. Yeah, I was told there would be cake. I gotta, I gotta have some green tea on that one. That's funny. No, actually, Laura, I don't remember that. I haven't read. I actually have still a copy of that book, Alice in Wonderland, that I was given as a child, and I haven't read that in so long that I don't actually remember that. Anyway, okay. So, any questions you guys have for me? We're about halfway through the live stream. Anything you guys want to ask for either yourself or about me or whatever? Let's turn it over to some questions. And I know All in a Dream, it was hysterical. I have it on DVD and I just periodically will watch it because it's so funny. And one of the guys that's interviewing the lead character goes something like, well, I heard you've been missing a lot of work lately. And he goes, well, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob. Yeah, interview. Birthdays equal all kinds of sugar. That's right. In fact, this year for my 70th, if I'm living in a new place by that time, I'm going all out on the sugar that day. I'm going to be in a sugar coma pretty much. So, I mean, not actually a coma because I'm not diabetic, but I'm just saying I will indulge. I will get various types of sweets that day. Oh, thank you, Interview, for asking. Yes, I actually did get some questions about this when I did my video Wednesday. So here's the thing. All right. Let me go. Yeah, Betty, I'll come back to that. Let me actually mark down a couple of these questions. Okay. And overseas. And okay, let me first deal with. Okay. So I have talked about before that I think I've lived here where I currently live in my tiny studio apartment in my tiny town, that I have lived here for it's been 6 years now and a couple of months. Well, I'm a I'm a person that can't be in one place too long and I start getting very antsy. Like it's just my nature. I was raised in a suitcase. I was raised moving. I was raised always seeing new places and it just stayed with me all my life. Now, I've been here. I think the longest single place I've been in a particular house or apartment has been like 6.5 years. So I'm closing in on that. So even before my channel was monetized, I was trying to figure out a way to move. Anyway, I knew I wasn't going to be able to move overseas at that point, but I was still trying to find a way to move. So I did put in for a bunch of other low income housing, and a couple of things did come up, like in February, but I just didn't. I knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't the right time or whatever. And this was before I was monetized, and so anyway, I basically, once I got monetized, I knew eventually I want to live overseas. But I also know that right now it's too big of a leap for me. Plus, there's some logistical issues that I really want to be in another state for tax purposes because now I have my own business. And so there's some logistical things that I have to do to put in place before I can go overseas. So I'm not going to my, hopefully not my forever home, as we say about our pets. Uh, I hope I'm not going to my forever home. Anyway, I'm going to a place, and I will tell you as I once it's once I'm there, I will tell you. But I'm going to a place where I will live for about 6 months, and then the plan is to then go overseas. But it gives me 6 months to get residency, also to get, but also to get my visa, everything I need to get to make that happen. So that's kind of the deal. That's what's happening. Plus, I'm just ready to go. I've been ready to move in my head for like over a year now. So I'm just ready to be out of here. And now that I can actually do it, well, I'll share it, Cynthia. I'll share it when I go. There, stay tuned. There will be updates in the next month or two here. Well, the problem, Cynthia, is I don't want to stay even where the town I'm in. And the thing is, yes, what's happening logistically for where I live and why I might as well move is because my rent will go up anyway here. Because I'm in low income housing, I wouldn't get kicked out because I'm not making enough money to get kicked out, but I'm making enough that my rent's going to go up here anyway. So I'm going to have to pay higher rent anywhere by next month, by October. So basically that's the deal. So I'm going to an interim place, and then I'm going overseas. Now, somebody asked about that. Yes, I'm still planning. The deal is I'm planning on going to France at this point, but it will all depend on being able to get a 1-year visa. It's called a long stay visa in France. If I can do that, then yeah, then I will be doing that probably in April or May of this next spring. So that's the idea. So yes, and I'm not going to say exactly in France, although I kind of know where I'm going, but I'm not going to. It's not Paris, though. I can't afford Paris. So, but I can. Let's put it this way: I can get my medical and my rent lower over there than I can here. So it actually, yes, oui, je parle français, Mitch. Un peu. Yes, it is. And I feel comfortable enough. I speak enough French that I feel perfectly comfortable in France. I've been to France a couple of times in my life before. So, yeah, yes, Cynthia, I heard that. I've heard that's really nice. And actually, where I'm going to go is down in that area of southern France. So, um, yeah. So I mean, I'm not, and I may end up going to one place for like 3 months and then moving somewhere else too, because once you're there, you decide you want to. Yes, I do. Wild horses. I've actually seen Janice in France. She was gutsy. She moved over there when she was 70. And she lives just outside Paris, though, in like a suburb of Paris, I believe. Yeah, Jan, I'm going to do a whole video on this, how when you are living low income and you get all these benefits, what changes for you when you start making more money? I mean, it's a real shock in itself. I mean, I knew going in 2 years ago when I started the channel that this was potentially what could happen. So it's not like it's totally surprised me, but I'm kind of forced now. I mean, yeah, I could go back to being totally poor and take no money from YouTube, but I don't want that. I want to have other experiences, and the fact that I have to now pay for things, that's part of the deal. It's just part of the deal. So, yeah, she lives in Fontainebleau. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm doing an initial move and then a second move. So it's 2 stages of move. But as somebody who, even though, and I will say this, the idea of moving gets much more daunting and harder as you get older. as much as I used to be able to move at the drop of a hat, and it didn't require a huge amount of, I mean, it always requires effort, but I mean, it wasn't as much. Now I really see that I have a limited amount of moves left in my system, probably. So my idea would be to, I don't think I'm going to live overseas the rest of my life, but I don't know that until I get there. Maybe I'll love it so much. Maybe I will live there the rest of my life. I don't know. Oh, yes, Jean, I'm going to definitely still be on YouTube. This whole thing is going to be filmed, recorded, everything. Every little, well, not every aspect, but most of the aspects. And so, yeah, I'm taking you along. Elder Gal is leaping off a cliff, apparently. That's what she's doing. She's, yeah, leaping off a cliff. Yeah. Wild horses, I know. Well, if I had my own home, if I had my own home and my own like home base, and then just wanted to travel, like go on 3 trips a year or something, I would do that. But I don't really have a home anyway. I can't, somebody said to me, well, can't you just keep an apartment and go over there? And I'm like, no, because I can't afford that. I can't afford to pay for a place here and go live overseas. No, it doesn't, Gina. Yeah, that's the thing that I've already looked into. I already have figured out some of my options. You have to have, in France, you have to have medical coverage, I think, for 6 months. So I have to get a plan that covers me overseas. But then after 3 months, you can apply to be on the French medical system, and you pay into that, but it's less than paying for medical here. And basically then I'm covered at 6 months, I believe, once I'm in France on a visa, if you have a visa. So yeah, so I've already looked into all that. I know all that, works, but anyway. So anyway, that's the deal. I will be making an exploratory trip in about 2 weeks. That's going to hopefully find me where I'm going to be moving to. It's just going to be like an apartment, but I'm basically going to find where I'm going, and then that'll depend on when they have an apartment and when I can get in. So that's the deal right now. Yes, I know. But I always have wanted, I lived overseas when I was in the Peace Corps. I lived in Africa. And when I was a child, I grew up in Germany because my father was stationed there. And so I lived in Europe then. So I have lived overseas before. It's not like I've never done it. So I do know, kind of what to expect in that respect. I'm a person that's just very comfortable in other cultures and other places. I don't know. I'm very much not, I don't think what I would say is the average American in that respect because of my background and my education, in the sense that I'm an anthropologist and that sort of thing. So for me, it's not as difficult to do this. Now, it's still difficult, don't get me wrong, but it's just not as challenging. Yeah, I know, KJR. Yeah, I know. Well, the irony is I'm going to actually have to get a Medigap plan. I'm going to have to get a supplemental plan to my Medicare for 6 months when I move. Well, actually, I won't be able to get that. You can't get it till January when they have open enrollment, but I can get that for a few months, but then I have to cancel that to go overseas and get a different type of coverage. So it's all very complicated, but yes, all in a dream. Portugal is nice, but it is a higher price to live as far as rent there. That's the thing that's happened in the last couple of years. Portugal used to be really affordable. Rural France, the smaller cities in France are still very affordable, which makes it. Plus, I don't speak so, and I do speak French, so therefore it's a lot better. Oh, Lee, are you in Indonesia right now, Lee? Huh. Anyway, okay. Somebody else asked a question. Betty did or something about About my tablet filming. Yeah, I am going to get something different by the time I go overseas. I'm not sure. I'm going to get something different to film because I don't think having I film everything except for this. This is just on my laptop that I'm doing the live stream. But I use an iPad and an iPhone to film. That's all I have for filming. I do need something better that's also going to be more mobile in a way, and I'm in the process of figuring out what's going to work best for me for that. But yeah, the reason I enjoy filming with the Apple products is because I use iMovie to edit, and iMovie is free. It's a free software program on all Apple products, so I enjoy that. I do know that I'm probably going to have to learn a more complex editing program at some point, and so there, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of changes in that respect too. I know, John, we have people from all over the world here on my channel. I love it. I love it. We're international. Yes, it is, Angela. The Dordogne region of France, yes, is lovely and very affordable. I'm going to be when I'm there. My plan is once a month. I'm going to take off for 2-3 days and just explore different cities. Just take once a month and go off somewhere for 3 days and just explore a different place because I might choose to end up being somewhere other than where I'm initially going to go. So yes, thanks, Therese. Yeah, I know. Well, I think that's everywhere in the world. I've lived in a dangerous place in my life before, and I can't give in to fear about these things. I'm a city girl. I was raised in the city. I'm very careful anyway, so I just basically kind of know how to handle myself when I travel. Um anyway, any other questions anyone has here? I know you guys are talking about all the lovely places. Yeah, Toulouse is lovely too, Cynthia. Well, with tourists, yeah. In fact, in I think there's been some pushback in Portugal against actually not just tourists, but all the people um, coming and causing all the prices to rise in Portugal, and they don't really like that. So yeah, I don't have a husband. Relaxing music. Um, but there was a place I was reading about. Where is it now? There was a place that has really gone very anti-tourists, not necessarily living. I think they feel differently about people living there, but if you're a tourist, yeah, there are places that are really very anti, anti-tourist right now in the world. Exactly, Cynthia. They're not happy with the gentrification and the prices because they're priced out of their own housing. It's like that's what the, expats did to their country. So I can understand that. Barbie, I don't know because I'm not going to be driving in France. I'm that I have not bothered to look into. Public transportation is so good over there. I don't need to drive, which is great. Is that in Italy? All in a dream? Okay. I don't remember now. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I thought it was a specific city, and they had really just the people were just ticked off with all the tourists and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It could be Italy. Could be somewhere in Italy. I don't. Oh, it's Barcelona. Thank you, Meadow. That's it. It was Barcelona in Spain. The people that live there have had it because it's like they're just mobbed with tourists there. I gotta have some more green tea. Yeah, and but yeah, Barcelona is the one I was reading about. It may be true of Greece also, but yeah, they've just and so if you're especially I think I don't even know if it's just against Americans. I think it's just tourists that they're just the people are being you know, and that's fine. I don't have to go there. So that's okay. I would actually rather not go to the places that are oversaturated with tourists. You know, when I went to Paris a little over 20 years ago on a trip, and I went by myself, it was the most amazing trip. It was one of those things, you know how they say that something will always go wrong on a trip or something like that? On this trip, nothing went wrong. Everything just fell into place. It was just like a dream. The whole trip was just amazing. But you know, it was interesting. You know who I gravitated to that I chatted with a lot? Like I got like one of those passes that you take the tourist bus and that's how you get around the city and stuff. I ended up talking a lot to the Canadians, not to fellow Americans, but to Canadians. And it actually worked in my favor one time because we were in line for this restaurant and I was chatting with this Canadian couple. And the people in front of us, or in front of me, were Americans who were kind of the poster children for what we call an ugly American. Like they were really loud and they were rude. And so, and obviously they didn't speak any French. I mean, if you go to France, especially Paris, you got to speak some French. I mean, just basic things, but you got to speak some French. It's just courtesy. I mean, we would want the same when people come here, wouldn't we? I mean, it's just anyway. These people in front of me, we were at this beautiful restaurant, which is at the Musée d'Orsay, which is the Musée d'Orsay is the Impressionist museum in Paris. My favorite museum because I love Impressionist paintings. And so I was in there and I was like, you know, ogling all the paintings. And they have this beautiful restaurant that's like Baroque architecture and it's just gorgeous. And I wanted to go to have lunch there because of the windows overlook the Seine River and, you know. So anyway, I'm in line. This couple in front of me goes up and we get up to the front and I'm chatting with the Canadians and the people in front of me, I don't even remember what they said, but they were so obnoxious that the maitre d' just basically said, no, we can't seat you. He wouldn't give them a table. He just wouldn't give them a table. And then they got even madder. And then, you know, some bouncer people came out and, you know, hustled them away. So I was a little nervous going up there because I was like the next person. And so I basically spoke in French, you know, and said, you know, that, you know, I'd like to have lunch and whatever. And so, and the guy was like, and then the Canadians, you know, they were speaking some French too. And so the guy let us come in and have, you know, I ate by myself. I didn't eat with the couple, but anyway, it was kind of crazy. Oh, wait, you guys are talking about cats now. Hang on. Okay, well, somebody didn't like it. Well, we haven't spent the whole time talking about travel. So, anyway, okay, did somebody else have a question for me? Let me go back up. Oh, geez. Go back up here so I can see the earlier comments, maybe because I was telling the story. Oh, it won't move. The chat won't move. Okay. No, not yet. I did not want to end the stream. Thank you, though. Anyway, how's the downsizing? Oh, Suzanne. Oh, well, it's slow. Uh, I don't think I've really done anything since I did the books, but I took all those books to the secondhand store in town and they were really happy to have them. And I didn't even, you normally get like a credit to buy other books, but I'm not going to be here to get other books. So I said, just, you know, you can just take them. And so yeah, but I've got some things I got to tackle. I'm going to try to film as much as I can, and then like once a month or a couple times a month, I'll do, you know, a video about what I've downsized. Like I've got I got to start packing away stuff that I know I'm not going to need for the next couple of months. So, yeah, it's a process, but that's why I've allowed myself time to do it. So, thanks, Jean, for saying that. Okay, any other questions? So let me ask you guys, what anybody doing anything exciting this holiday weekend? Anybody doing something fun? Oh, really, Paz? Your secondhand stores refusing donations? Wow. Yeah, we do have the good thing is we also have a Goodwill in town. So I actually can my other stuff I can take to the Goodwill, including clothes and stuff. So that's good. Are you still uneasy about flying, John? Yeah, I hate flying. Hate it. Yeah. I would have been much more of a world traveler when I was younger, but the flying thing. Yeah. It's the good thing is when I finally go over to France, I will just get a one-way ticket. So I don't have to- yeah, I have to basically be sedated to fly. I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. So I basically go to my doctor and ask for like anxiety med just to fly. Yeah, because it's that bad. I just hate it. Well, my dad died in a crash. So when I was 10, and that had a big long-term impact on me because I thought, yeah, if it could happen to my dad, it could happen to me. That's just I mean, it's just that's how my brain works. So anyway, yeah, I don't give out logistical air stuff right now of where I'm at, but when I do move, it will be to a bigger place, and I will tell you generally where I'm at when I'm there. Okay, just pyrite. I didn't see your question earlier. Oh, you don't like flying either, John? Yeah. It's just tough for me. It really is. I mean, I love it if I'm on a sedative because I basically just sleep. I can basically get on there and just kind of go into a sleep state. And then I don't know, that's how I went to Paris about 20 something years ago. I took a direct flight from Phoenix. Actually, I flew to Frankfurt and then took the train to Paris. But anyway, it was a direct flight from Phoenix to Frankfurt. So I just basically was sedated and very happy because I'm very happy if I'm sedated. So, um, I wish I did like flying, KJR. I really do. I wish I did. Anyway, yes, a lot of I know God, I would have done so much traveling if I had loved flying. I would have. That was part of the reason I didn't do more. And what happened to me is I was better about flying when I was in my teens and 20s. And it started getting worse because I had a couple of bad incidents on planes around the age of 30, and that's what made it worse for me. So that yeah, I would have done. The nice thing is once I'm in Europe, I'll just use trains to get around. I'm not going to fly. I can pretty much take a train anywhere in Europe for, it doesn't take that long. So they have high speed trains. So yeah. Yeah, and also, yeah, the whole process of flying now is just I know some of you that are old enough to remember back in the 60s when you flew or even in the 70s, it was so much different. It was just so much nicer. Like people dressed nicer, the planes weren't as packed, you had more leg room and seat room and I don't know, it was just very different. And now it's just kind of crazy. And of course with all the safety requirements now for homeland security stuff and all that, it is such a process now. Yeah, it is very different, Lamb's Grace. I know. The last time I flew was 2013. I think, was the last time I flew. It's been over 10 years now. And yeah, and that was I flew from Phoenix to New York City and like round trip and uh and I was sedated, but just it still wasn't fun. It was very different. Anyway, well, yeah, I know. I know. I know I've got to like before I go overseas, I've got to like revisit all the things I have to know to go through like, TSA and everything. Like I don't even, I haven't done it enough. Uh in 2001, which was the last year that I actually flew twice in 2001 before 9/11. I actually the last time I flew before 9/11 was literally about a week before 9/11 happened. And you can imagine that when 9/11 happened, that even worsened even more my fear because it was like now that could happen. Like there's a whole other level of crazy now. So yeah, and now the Boeing problem. Yes, Cynthia. It's and now, Boeing used to be, I used to live in Seattle, and Boeing was like state of the art planes at one time. I mean, they were the best. They're not the best anymore. What happened? What happened there? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that scares me. I actually am going to be looking for what plane when I do go overseas. I'm going to try to not fly on I probably want an Airbus. I don't want a Boeing. Oh, it did, Lamb's Grace? Oh, I can imagine. Boy, that was I don't know. I'm sure all of you remember 9/11 since the anniversary again is coming up soon here in what, 11 days? 11, 9, 10 days. Um, yeah, that really changed so much about the way we looked at a lot of things. So, yeah. No, I haven't heard about that, Suzanne. I know, Bonnie, I never actually got to ride on a 747. I always wanted to when they came out in the 70s, but I never got to ride on a 747. So, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we'll wrap this up for today. We covered a lot of stuff, but remember the stuff I said in the beginning about choosing our own attitude in any given set of circumstances. Please, I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend and a week to come. And there will be a video out on Wednesday. It will be about gratitude done in a very experiential way. And you'll see when it's probably the shortest video I've done in a while, but that's coming out on Wednesday. I already shot that and uploaded it and everything. Anyway, don't forget to hit the where is it like button. There we go. There we go. Hit the like button before you go, please. And anyway, but have a wonderful week to come. I really appreciate you all being in here today. If any of you would like to be a moderator, I would like to add one more person on as a potential moderator so that uh, we don't have Diane doing all the heavy lifting by herself. Istanbul will be back when she can, but she's going to be, very busy for the next month or so because she's moving to Canada. So we have to adjust. So if anybody, what you can do is just uh, put a comment in the comment section of this video and let me know if you'd like to be a moderator, and then I can add you for next time or whatever. But yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for being here today. I really, it really makes my Saturday. It may not make yours, but it makes my Saturday. Just being on here. I feel like, oh, Yulia, I didn't see you there. Thanks for being here. But yeah, it just, you have no idea what this does for me. I don't really make money on live streams. I just want to tell you that right now. I really don't make money on live streams because YouTube only counts the live stream views after you're live. So all the people that are in here, and then they only pay, like, I think I get maybe $10 for basically doing live streams. But it doesn't matter, because this is like, this is good for me. I'm hoping it's good for you. It's helping me get to know my viewers more. So that's worth its weight in gold. So that's why I love doing them. And I probably, once I move, I will probably do, occasional, like, special live streams, especially, like, so there will occasionally be more than one a week. Of course, I'll announce in advance what that is. But anyway, so have a wonderful time. Thanks again for being here. We'll be back Saturday, same time. Yeah, au revoir, Ray. Au revoir to you. And merci. And thank you. And have a wonderful week. And oh, I forgot to do this last week on the live stream. I forgot to do my usual ending. But yeah, until next time, be well, be kind, keep moving forward, and all of you take care of yourselves. Take care. Bye.